In today's video, we have the top 5 free STL files that you can download and then 3D print, and these projects are all exceptionally good. There's also a range of difficulties here from beginner to advanced when it comes to how complicated some of these parts are to print out. And I've gone ahead and downloaded and printed all of these so you can see how they all turn out. And of course you can give it a go yourself, and you don't have to go as far as me. I went and painted them all. You can just print them out raw, and there's even some here that are perfect for printing out with no paint whatsoever. So we'll start with Kestis Blaster from Star Wars Jedi Survivor. First of all, this thing looks incredible. The 3D file is also beautiful to work with. There is some very long parts that I printed vertically, so if you have trouble getting stuff to adhere to your print bed, this may not be the one for you, but this was a great one for me to learn and get better at 3D printing with. And then the assembly is actually incredibly good with this. And major props to the original designer of this 3D file. Next up, we have Shin Hati's lightsaber from Ahsoka. This one's great because there's many lightsabers you can go download and print off. The one thing that really makes this kind of exciting for me was that it actually had a white grip, and it just makes it look very unusual, and I kind of just love how it ended up coming out. Along with the creator of these 3D files also making it so that there's some really nice details, like you actually have the clasp that would hang onto the belt and it dangles there, and it just looks very, very nice. And this is an extremely easy one to print, apart from one part that does need support. Other than that, there's nothing too complicated here. Moving on from that, we have Andor's Blaster. This, of course, showed up in Rogue One originally, but is also in the Andor series, and it's just a really nice prop to print out. This one, though, is far more advanced to print. It's a lot more complicated to print it out successfully, and I wasn't able to do this on my old Ender. I had to do it on my K1. When that showed up, I was like, I'm going to revisit this and see if I can do it, and I was able to. But I think there's some, if you want to do some tweaking to 3D models, this is a great one to start with because you can do a few things here to make it even better and easier to print. So if you want to get a bit adventurous with doing a little bit of 3D modeling, this is a good one to go with too. Next up, we have one of the simplest ones to print, and that is the Darksaber. There's a bunch of different Darksabers online. This one that I'm linking to in the description, it is pretty much perfect. It's just very simple, and I did add some paint here on my project, but you could just print this out, of course, just black, and it would look really beautiful and give you the great Darksaber look that it, of course, has. The designer also added in a few extra files here, so you've got the ability to print out the grip in one go, or if you're having difficulty with it, there is actually a version with 2 pieces that you can print out separately, so it'll be a lot easier. So this is a very good one to go with. And then finally, our last one is Beskar Steel. This is one I actually want to revisit and try and do again with a better 3D printer now, but it just looks really, really good, even with just a simple gray filament. And of course you could come in and you could add in some sort of color to give that nice Damascus look to it. And this was actually one of my first ever 3D prints that I ever did, and I think it looks really good. And I'm gonna probably go back and play around with it because I think I could probably do something kind of special with it in the future. But yeah, this is a beautiful one to work with too. Now, if you want to download any of these files, there's a link in the description below that goes to stuff like Thingiverse. You can go get them. There's also links to videos as well, where I actually do the full projects if you want to see how the whole thing's turned out and how I went through it. And I also talk about like the bits that I had issues with and how I might have changed things, which might give you a bit of insight before you go ahead and print your own. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I am trying to build a 3D printing channel here, so if you want to give me a like or a comment, that would massively help. And thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time.